Hi everybody, I'm Mike and this is Mike Miller Talks Life. Today's quote, it's a long one. Your talent can take you further than your character can sustain you. Your talent can take you further than your character can sustain you. I've been watching the news and it's a little amazing. Sex scandals, dishonesty, greed, abusing people, abusing power, using people, cheating. I mean, it's just crazy. We see these kinds of problems played out in government, business, corporations, big company kind of things. We see it happening in churches, among teachers and coaches and professional sports and community organizations, musicians and bands and other types of entertainment, in the world of counseling and social work. I'm not saying all these have problems, all these that are involved in these fields are in trouble or having problems, but a lot of these represent where a lot of these problems are, as well as many other places. And the problem is not a lack of training and talent. There are so many super talented people in each of these career fields and all the others that I didn't mention. People are highly skilled, and yet they continue to crash. Talent can be developed, and at a certain point in the development of your talent, whatever it might be, it becomes very fulfilling. You get pretty good at it. It's fun to do. It's relaxing, enjoyable. We receive praise, applause, recognition, all that. But we deceive ourselves. We don't know ourselves. We don't examine how our lives are below the surface. We don't check ourselves when we're making choices and decisions that aren't really signs of character. They're not good. Our talents, our skills are leading us to great accomplishments in some cases, pretty good incomes, success, and we think everything is just great. I mean, this is what I've wanted. This is what I've been working for. Yet there's a glaring problem. Something is causing people to hit a level and crash. And the problem, I think, is a lack of character. Yes, there are other reasons. Damage from early in life is played out and things happen, things go wrong. I agree with all of that, but I still believe that much of the problems that I've listed are a problem of character, the absence of character. The quote said, your talent can take you further than your character can sustain you. It's like we're like a triangle. The point is on the bottom and it's tiny and it can't sustain the growth, and it'll topple over. Coach Wooden, a famous college basketball coach, ability might get you to the top, but it requires character to keep you there. You see, I think we're born with talent. Talent is what we do. And we're all born with some natural talent. And it's discovered by, as we grow, we're interested in something that we've seen and we want to try it. And we discover that we're kind of talented there. We're pretty good at it and we enjoy doing it. And as we keep working on it, we get better and better. This is how talents develop and they grow. And everybody is multi-talented. As we go through life, we discover other new things that we want to try, and we realize we're pretty good at that. And finding a talent and developing that talent is fun. It's very enjoyable. We are born with a personality. This is how we come across to people. This is what wins people to want to come close to us and get to know us, or drives people away. We can be introverted or extroverted, or we can be right in the middle of those two. We can be a fun, happy, enjoyable, positive person, always welcoming people or that kind of thing, or we can be kind of shy or introverted or that kind. That's our personality. That's how we're wired. We can work on our personality. We can kind of tweak it, and we can deal with the rough edges, but that's our personality. We need character. Character is what you are. Personality is how you come across. Talent is what you do. Character is what you are. The person you want to be. It's how we behave and why we behave on a consistent basis a certain way. Character is not something you're born with. It must be taught. It must be developed. It must be chosen. And we really need to spend more time on our character development than anything else, because that is what will sustain you. It is what goes on beneath the surface that will sustain you as you grow and develop in your life. It's like building a house. We spend a lot of time on the foundation, and we use the right materials, and we pour this concrete, and we pour it to a certain depth into the ground and a certain width and all this, so it's enough to hold up the house we plan to build. And it will hold the house up forever, for a long time, unless there's some catastrophic damage or event that happens. It's sort of like a sailboat. Now, I love watching sailboats, and it's cool to see these things glide across the water so gracefully. It's cool to see the sails just fill with wind, and the sailor can guide that sailboat wherever he or she wants it to go. And I think it's just fascinating. But it's interesting that everything that boat is capable of doing, everything that it can do as it glides through the water, doesn't fall over or anything like that, is all based on what's beneath the surface, the keel. It's got to be the right size and the right weight to support the boat. Our life is like that. What happens beneath the surface, what is underneath our life, is what will sustain us or weaken us. Character determines our life, our choices, our relationships, our responsibility. And nothing can compensate for a lack of character. I mean, we can ignore it, still a problem. We can cover it over, still a problem. Many in the Christian community will pray to God that the problems we are all experiencing because of a lack of character would be taken away and we'd be spared all of this. God doesn't answer those kind of prayers, because character development is our responsibility. We have to make choices to grow it, develop it, maintain it. So developing character, that's what's needed in a major way. It's what will sustain our life. It's what will diminish the number of stories we hear about people crashing and involved in horrible scandals and doing terrible things. It's character that's missing in a major way. Here are some core character traits that I think are very important. Integrity. Integrity means to be whole, undivided. We talk a lot about compartmentalizing our life. Sometimes we're forced to do that to a certain degree. Some jobs we're forced to do that. When I served as a chaplain for 10 years with the sheriff's department, I was forced to compartmentalize some things that I had seen and I was called out to help with because it was like crazy. And so you put that somewhere and that's how you dealt with it. But we don't want to have a life that's totally compartmentalized. We don't want a divided life. We want an undivided life, a whole life. We want to live an undivided life. No secret compartments, no cracks beneath the surface that allow for inappropriate behavior and secret behavior. We want integrity. We need honesty, a high commitment to the truth. No hedging the truth, no bending the truth, no twisting it, no adapting truth for different situations. Truth is truth. There aren't different versions of it. And so being honest is so important, to keep your promises, to keep your commitments, even when it's hard, even when it's costly to do so. Be an honest person. That's part of character. A third trait that's very important is respect and value for people. I think this is a character trait, not just a nice thing to do. And it's rooted in this belief that all people have value and they matter. Whatever their race, whatever their economic status, wherever they come from, whatever they do for a living, none of that has anything to do with this idea that people matter and we should have great respect for them and we should value them. It means I will not abuse people because they matter, they're valuable. I won't use them, I won't betray them. I will respect them by being kind and compassionate, and I will show empathy for them. Be understanding and caring. Number 4 is self-mastery, or often self-control. We want to master ourselves, not be mastered by ourselves. And this is about regulating your feelings and impulses. You don't just, if you feel it, act on it. If you have an impulse, act on it. No, you control that. You rein that in. You recognize these feelings and you edit them. You don't want to be ruled by them. We discipline ourselves, control ourselves, control our choices, control what we say, and we don't yield to moral temptations when they come up. And they always come up. And it's always some moral dilemma. We're battling with it. And character really helps to know what to say no to and what to say yes to and what to try not to get away with, because you're not gonna, in the Christian life, people of faith always struggle to not yield to temptation as part of our faith. We're trying to live a new life, a new way, a way that honors God and a way that represents that we're following Jesus. We want to behave like he did. But this battle over moral temptations is something that's on everybody because we all face these moral dilemmas. Self-mastery. And finally, I think an important trait, among many others probably, is humility. Humble people are really the strong people. Pride, arrogance, that's not strong. It might come across as cocky, but it's weak. It's broken, and it's headed for destruction. The humble are strong. They admit their mistakes. They don't try to hide it or cover it. I did that. We messed up. We had an idea, but it was a bad idea. That kind of thing really builds trust in people. Be accountable. It's so important to be accountable to a few people that you trust so that they can ask you the hard questions and you're going to give honest answers. The humble are willing to share the credit. They don't want all the credit. They want people to know that everybody is working on this project. Everybody's involved here and everybody chipped in. Core character traits that are essential in everyone's life. And you may come up with some others that I've overlooked, and that's good. Shows that you're really thinking about this. They're hard to develop. They take focus, energy, constant working, especially if you've kind of shined these on or haven't really been taking it very seriously, and now you think, boy, I got to get going on this. And it's going to be really hard because it's a major change in thinking and behavior. And that's always hard, but it's possible. I think it's really important not only for we who are adults, we who are older, to start taking these character traits seriously and try to live them out and rule our life by them. But I think we should be teaching our children these character traits. Just drive them home as best you can. Use those teaching moments in life to drive these home. Teach them to our grandchildren when we have opportunity, just to drive these truths home. It'll make them strong, responsible adults. And we need a generation of people who are ruled by solid character. It's important because your talent can take you further than your character can sustain you. Hey, thanks so much for listening. If you like this, I hope you click like, subscribe if you're into that kind of thing. Share it if you want. If you know somebody who maybe hasn't heard this and you think it might be encouraging for them, that's always fine to do. It always means a lot when you listen, and I appreciate your time, and I always hope I have something to say that's kind of helpful to you. I wanted to remind you, next week I won't be doing a YouTube, and maybe one other week we're going to be doing a little bit of traveling, and so I might need those next 2 weeks off, but I'll be back, and when I get back, hopefully I'll have something to say that's helpful. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time, I hope you have a great couple of weeks.